Welcome back to the Robinson Replay. It's your favorite father-son sports podcast. What's up, Dad?
What up? This Wednesday night, I wasn't going to show as an April Fool's joke, but I decided to show up anyways.
Man, what a treat.
I was just gonna be like this, and you'd be like looking at a screen going, but I'm here.
Happy April Fools out
Yes.
there. A lot of sports headlines out there that
A lot of foolish,
were fake today.
a lot of little memes coming across. I love, of course, being a Browns fan. They had the Browns helmet with a Browns helmet logo on the Browns helmet.
Yeah, I saw that.
Very classy.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a great one to have, and I've seen some other ones that have.
I saw one that was there's going to be a new WNBA team coming to Cleveland.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
and their jerseys and their logo,
Yes.
they haven't released it yet. They're set to release it this summer, and so they teased a logo and jersey that said the Ohio Wolverines with
Wolverines,
blue and yellow for the colors.
I did see that.
Obviously, yeah.
The Ohio Wolverines, that would have generated a lot of fans basically hating them before they even started. That'd be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but there's so many headlines out there anyway that are fake. So like I don't know, like so many different trade stuff or like breaking news with players where it's just
there's
like,
lots
clearly
of stuff
fake from. Oh my gosh,
people post a lot of this stuff, and you have to really double, triple, quadruple check because they're just doing it just to get a rating, to get more views, more money. I mean, we try to make it as valid as possible. We're not trying to fake anybody out or do anything crazy like that. We're trying to be as, real as can be. And so, yeah, I have not heard, anything that is too over the top today, but we're gonna keep it real here tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep, let's keep it real. First,
right.
we had opening day last weekend for MLB, and we already have kind of a storyline for the start of the season to be expected probably for the rest of the season. We'll see how it plays out with this ABS. So
yes.
A lot of controversy here. It's really showing out the umpires on how bad they can really be, especially this guy over right here to the right, CB Buckner, on how he's had a rough time. I honestly feel bad for the guy. I mean, he's getting just roasted. I mean, he does not deserve to be an umpire, and he's just being completely killed out there. I mean, every call is bad. It's bad.
A couple things. Number one, obviously, it's a new thing. That's a new toy. So you're gonna have to let it wear a little bit, see how it all comes out in the wash. But and then you got to remember too that these guys, there's 4 umpires in a game, and they only really go behind the plate and call balls and strikes 1 out of every 4 days. So some of them don't even do it twice a week. Some of them only will do it once a week. So depending on where they're doing it or traveling, if they they get an off day. So lots of times they're doing it once a week. They're calling balls and strikes. Obviously, though, a lot of these guys are veterans. They know how to call balls and strikes. This is their job. Most Major League Baseball umpires do not have other jobs. Like, the NFL referees, a lot of them have had other jobs. These guys don't, obviously, because they're umpiring for May, June, July, August, September, October-ish. Plus, spring training and everything. Yeah. So they're doing it half the year at least, or if not more. So obviously, they're calling their bluff on this now because these are, they're tight calls. A lot of them. Most of them aren't. And if you look at it, like in the picture there, it's just barely touching. Just barely. Now, obviously, some that are like 2, 3, 4 inches outside or down below. Or up high, that's a problem.
Yeah,
but this guy
even
got
saw on Cleveland. There was like dead center strike zone, and he called it a ball. And did you see that one?
Yeah, and I get the gist on this too, because you want You want it to be a great game. You want it to not have the umpire decide the game, So I understand how you would want to have this, technology. Obviously, it's a technology world now.
Yeah.
So do you just get rid of the umpires completely and just have them on the bases? But then, if you don't call them right on the bases, then they do a replay. They do this, and this is what they do for the replay on the bases. And next thing you know, they're up. He was safe, or and then how many replays do you give the people? They got two now, but if you keep getting them right, you keep going. But if what comes down to it, like let's say the ninth inning, and it's for bases are loaded. Guy's got a 3-2 count. He calls him strike three, but it really was a ball. But hey, we're out of challenges. We can't call anything anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like it's sort of
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a hard decision for them to think this out. They're going to have to really think about it. My thing is, I say at least the first 8 innings, you have 3 challenges, 3. And if you lose them after 3, you're done. And then in the ninth, you automatically get 1 in the ninth. That way, it could save you in that instance that, just in case something happens in the night. Because obviously, when the game's coming down to crunch time at the end, you really, I mean, I don't know if
Mhm.
there's a
Yeah.
perfect solution. I don't know if there's a perfect solution without getting rid of the umps altogether.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
if they get rid of them, it's going to be sort of robotic kind of. And,
mhm.
pretty soon they're going to have freaking robots out there clubbing the ball. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer
Yeah,
is.
it's a tough situation. We were just saying the other day how all the sports are really leaning into the technology more with the refereeing because we have the abilities now to really see is this call correct or not and make the live time decision that before in the past we had to wait until after the game to be able to really come to the conclusion there on if the call was right or not. And so the NFL, for example, the NFL calls are a lot more subjective. Let's say a pass interference call. It's
Right,
a
right.
a live time
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's going on, and
I
that
agree.
ref has his angle and whatnot. It's a lot more subjective than
Right.
a black and white strike zone here, ball or strike.
I agree.
Even if it is a millimeter, a centimeter in the strike zone, it's a strike zone. If it's a millimeter away from it, it's a ball, and they have the strike zones for every single player decided beforehand based on their exact height
Yeah,
metrics and everything like that. So it's really down to a science, and so
it is.
it's just tough for me of like to have those challenges versus like you could get all the calls right. And
Yeah,
like why not do that? And yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just have an earpiece in the umpire's ear just to tell him if it's a strike or a ball. I mean, the technology is so fast; it literally takes like 2 seconds to do anyway.
yeah,
So, I don't know. Yeah, but I get what you're saying then too. If like it's becomes robotic. Obviously, baseball is a little bit slow to change, but has been changing faster over the years. Now, baseball has been gaining a lot of popularity. I've even seen some people saying that kind of ratings wise and how the U.S. is reacting to baseball now with the World Baseball Classic and opening day weekend and stuff is kind of overtaking the popularity of NBA and basketball right now. What do you think about that?
yeah. Well, I agree with you. The only thing is I'm worried about is, they may lock these players out after this next year here.
Yeah.
They're going to be in one of those things just like the NBA and the NFL. And heck, the NFL's basically, they said there's been no negotiations with their referees. So it's, they're already starting to get them ready. The scabs ready are ready for this year. So I don't know. It's such a, when billionaires are paying millionaires and we're worried about these refs and umps and everything, we should have the highest quality officials for these games as possible. Instead, we're nickel diming them, everything else, because they want to make that much more money. And it makes a sour taste in a fan's mouth as far as I'm concerned. As a fan, I want the best quality. As a season ticket holder, I pay lots of money to go to these games, and if I'm not a season ticket holder, I still pay lots of money to go see it if I'm going to see a game live. So I want the best quality referees, umpires, technology, and whatever it is to make sure the game's played fair and at a high level. If it's not played fair and at a high level, what's the sense of watching? There's no
Yeah.
sense in watching as far as I'm concerned. So I definitely could see eventually that they will just eventually say this is we're just going by each person, and balls and strikes are balls and strikes. You're gonna know right away. That's gonna pop up on the board, or something's gonna make a sound, or whatever. Who knows? Maybe, like you said, maybe it just goes right to the umpire. But
Mhm.
then I mean, they could hire anybody. Then, if that's the case, they hire anybody to stand behind there and just say, "Oh, that was a
Yeah.
strike," whatever. But it
Mhm.
definitely is going to continue to change, and I eventually think at the end of this, it'll probably be some kind of technology that takes over it, just like a lot of things in the world,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
just like a lot of things, and may still be a little bit, but I mean, them trickling this out like this here, um, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but we'll have to see how it plays out, and with the rest of the season here.
I mean,
So
they've been playing
it's just
around
the
with it in the
opening
minor
weekend, and
leagues.
now it's yeah.
They started with the minor leagues last year. Like, I would go to the Mud Hens games. The guy taps his head. They go up. They show it on the screen. Ah, it was a strike or a ball or whatever. And then so they started doing this last year in the minors, and obviously they liked the way it was going. So then brought up to the major leagues, and I'm sure they'll keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until they'll probably tweak it forever, just like they tweak everything. Everything gets
Mhm.
tweaked all the time. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yep. Yep. We'll have to see. All right. Next here we have the NBA playoffs are essentially set at this point. The teams, at least, the seeding can fluctuate just a little bit here, as most teams have about 5, 6 games left. The play-in tournament starts on April 14th, so just 2 weeks away, from the 14th to the 17th, and then the actual playoffs starting on April 18th here. So, looking at this playoff picture, what do you think here on some of these teams, and
I'll tell you
rolling
what.
into the playoffs? Who's hot? Who's not?
I tell you what, I think the team to beat in the East is the Celtics. They are rolling. I mean, rolling. They scored 53 points in the first quarter tonight. First quarter, 53 points. They have been playing outstanding basketball. Tatum has been seamless coming back in. He's really starting to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had 3 3-pointers in the first quarter. I mean, they look really good. The Cavaliers look awful. I mean, with a capital A, the Hawks will beat them if the Cavaliers do not start playing defense. They don't play defense. Their coach has been on them. He comes out in the public and says all kinds of stuff about them all the time, and they still can't play defense. So until they start playing defense, they could be in big trouble. And the Pistons need to get Cunningham back in the East there to try to get by either that Heat, Hornets, if those are the two
Yeah.
teams that
What's his time frame? He has a collapsed lung. Did I,
need to
did I see
collapse
that
lung.
right?
Yes, yeah. So I don't know how long it's
How
going
does it
to.
even happen? I don't know.
I'm
Like,
not even sure how it happened to him. I can understand it. I remember Watt got his collapsed lung, this season of football, but he had that acupuncture or something, whatever. I can understand that. This was not related to that, so I don't know how it actually happened. I probably should have looked
mhm.
into that more. I apologize, but yeah, I'm not sure. It just sort of collapsed, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know what his timeline is yet
Uh huh.
to come back, but boy, they need him. I know they come back and won last night against OKC without a lot of their guys. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping that he comes back. I want to see the best teams and the best guys playing the best ball that we can to see the best games.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of if I'm a Cleveland fan or not, but Cleveland needs to get their act together. So right now, I tell you right, it's the Boston on the one side. I don't know. Lakers, I tell you what, they really surprised me last night when they played the Cavs. They've been playing really good.
Yeah. Luca
Um,
is just insane.
yeah, Luca had the most points in March for any Laker ever.
Yeah.
Or
Top 10 all time. and
yeah. So just
any
amazing.
player
I mean,
for a month.
he's just amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, everything runs through him. Last night, if he wasn't shooting, he was passing a perfect pass to somebody to dunk the ball. It was ridiculous. But I tell you right now, the Spurs and OKC, the West is much more wide open. Any of those teams, Spurs, Rockets, they're up and down. But I think it's the Spurs, OKC. OKC's they're not quite completely healthy. They're almost there. But if I had to pick right now, I'd take the Spurs and Celtics, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
What
Spurs.
about you?
Wemby just had a new season high yesterday. 41 points season high there. So, yeah, the Spurs. I think I would go the Spurs over OKC right now. I know
Yeah.
they probably just about split their season series. I remember that when they were
Yeah.
playing each other back around Christmas time,
Spurs were
they were
doing well
splitting that.
earlier. They were beating them. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
you said, Lakers really coming out now there with Luca there. But yeah, on the East, Celtics are the team to beat. Unfortunately, Cavs I think will not go that far.
They'll be lucky to get out of the first round. I'm telling you.
hmm
I hate to say that, but the way they're playing, phew, it's ugly, man.
hmm Yeah, yeah. So I mean, those that's my prediction. I'd go the Celtics and the Spurs in the finals right now if I
Copycat,
had to pick. hmm
copycat.
I would though. That's
I
the
know.
truth.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that's when you look at this stuff.
both both
What
second seeds.
But I tell you what, the Sixers are starting to play better too. They are. They got their full guys back. They got George back. They got Embiid. They got Maxey back. George had 39 points through three quarters tonight. 39 points. Holy smokes! I mean, just lightning up. So they're going to be a tough out for the Celtics. The Orlando's slipping. They were getting bombed tonight. Uh, but yeah, Atlanta just overtook Toronto last night to get the 5 seed. That was a nice update on that, Luke. Um, so yeah, I tell you, it's but in these first game series, if you get a hot team, you can be out quick. You can be out quick. So
hmm
you don't want to catch a hot team and be on the downslope and because you can't. They're not 7 game series, the first ones, So they're only 5 game series, I believe, aren't they? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
I think
So
so.
that's important. You
hmm
can't be slipping on that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get more into the playoffs here real soon.
Yeah.
Play-ins right around the corner here.
2 weeks. Matter of fact, two
Yeah.
weeks from tonight. Is wait.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 weeks from tonight. It's the 15th. They've already.
Yeah. hmm Yep. Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, some playoff basketball right around the corner. But first, we have to talk
Yeah.
about the March Madness going on, which is now in April, the time where the real teams come out and play. Where Duke is no longer in the tournament
Garbage.
here.
Garbage.
Garbage. They were able to beat St. John's there, and then losing to UConn. Have to ask you first thing. What do you think about Duke? What's your reactions after the game and now having a few days to think about it?
Well, I'm concerned about the program overall. They have not been to the Final Four since 2016.
Mm.
They were beat back to back years in the Final Eight. I'm a little concerned about them. I don't know what the deal was, but they could not establish any offensive identity in the second half of that game against UConn. I mean, they're up 15 at halftime. The highest they were up was 19. Uh, sometimes they play not to lose. They try to run clock. They don't run their offense. They just go and they wait and they just want to make the time. They want less possessions. I understand that philosophy sometimes, but when you sort of get out of your rhythm and then you start missing baskets, then that becomes a problem. And the next thing you know, the team they march right down the court, they score a basket. You sit there, hold the ball. You take yourself out of your flow. They march right down, take another basket, and it's a domino effect then. So it was very discouraging to say the least. I feel bad for that Caden Boozer, and I tell this to the kids all the time. Don't throw the ball high. Everybody's arms and everything's up here. Take high, go low. If he would have thrown that pass low, maybe the guy would have kicked it. They would have had a kick ball or something, but they're not going to deflect it like that, like they did, like when he threw it over the top with that double team. Next thing you know, ball
Yeah.
gets tipped up in
He
the
really
air.
didn't need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, all they needed to do in that situation. Now, don't get me wrong, this didn't come down to one play why they lost,
Yeah. They
but
had way too many turnovers.
yeah, the second half was just awful basketball. But anyways, uh, all they needed to do is just hold the ball and get fouled. That's all they needed to do. They were up 2. Hold the ball, get fouled, make your 2 free throws. You're up 4, game's over. Make your 2 free throws, game's over. All you needed to do was get fouled and go down and shoot.
Yeah.
Instead, we want to pass through a double
It's
team.
tough.
So Duke, I don't know. They're struggling. They'll get a couple great recruits in for next year, but
Mhm.
I love Shire. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes we don't have that killer instinct. We're not tough enough, I don't think either. So toughness for me, for one thing for them, their pace of play, sometimes it has to stay a little bit more consistent. And, just to develop that mentality that you're going to go out there and knock them dead. This is our game. Hey, you got to have a little moxie. Sometimes they don't have that moxie as a Duke. You got all these McDonald's All-Americans and everything.
Mhm.
And it's great to have great players, but you got to finish. I mean, when you
Yeah.
look at all these other teams that have all these, like Iowa had 8 of their guys were from the transfer portal. So you know, uh, I guess nowadays I think you need to have a balance. You need to have a balance of veteran players. You need to have a balance of fresh incoming good freshmen coming in. Get a couple good transfer portal kids and go from there. You definitely need some balance. I don't think every year you're going to do this 5 freshman thing. It wears on you, I think, as a system because
Yeah.
you have to be at the top of your game every year getting those recruits, and
Mhm.
then you have 1 year to mold them, and then they're gone. That's difficult. That's
Yeah.
why I think your teams need to be a little bit more balanced. That way you keep it going year after year after year. And I'll tell you what's a good one, UConn.
I was just gonna
They
say
have
that.
been
Yeah. Getting
yeah,
the
they've been in
Europeans.
it. Yeah, they've been in it last 3 out of 4 years in the Final Four. 3 out of the last 4. And they, I think, have a nice balance of players. They have some veteran players. They had that Reed kid who used to play for Michigan. He plays for them. He was outstanding against Duke. Reed, big guy in the middle. Um, Heck, one game he had 27 rebounds in the tournament. I didn't even know that till the other day when I looked it up. Um, but yeah, I'm telling you what, I think they have a great balance of a team. That's the way you need to make a team. But yeah, so that's my Duke analogy. I'll let you talk about them.
Yeah. No, you said it all there. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like you were sending me a couple days ago, all the different players that are, all-star talented players that didn't win a championship with Duke. A lot of reason because they're the one and done players,
Yep.
and from Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, Trey Jones, who else here? Cooper Flag, now Cam Boozer, lots more now. So, yes, exactly like you were saying with UConn, balanced. There, Hurley is a dog. He has that it factor that is just unbeatable
Mhm.
with any coach. And
Right.
I think with UConn, from my understanding, they have a couple players that played in the Europe leagues,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of teams should be looking to the Euro leagues because they have they play professional ball at below the age of 18. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're already playing in the pros. They play a different style of basketball as well, and I think that's what UConn kind of capitalized on. Whereas all the other teams, kind of like a Duke, are recruiting trying to get the top talent in an NBA style of game that didn't necessarily transfer to this tournament here and for now a decade.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, they're only pretty much doing well. They did have last year. They did have one international player last year in Malawach from plays for the Suns now. But mostly they're going for the American, high school kid here. They need to get maybe. I mean, if you look at all the teams in the final eight, there was at least one or two European players or overseas players on almost each team.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see, how that all trickles out here. I don't know if they're going to reevaluate that or not. I haven't really heard what he's going to do. What's his plan? All I know is they came out the next day and Coach K come on and show and said he didn't sleep that night. He was heartbroken and poor Coach K. I just want to see Coach get another victory. Even though he's not coaching, I'd like to see him get another victory there because
Mm.
I mean, look, he built the program. The program is
Yeah.
the program. The program would not be the same without him. It's plain and simple.
Hmm.
I know coaches don't do everything, but he pretty much did. He made that program what it is, and it wouldn't be the same without him. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be we wouldn't be talking about him right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Well, how about the bottom left there? We had Iowa beat Nebraska. We both got that one wrong.
Yeah.
And then Illinois beat Houston, who I had Houston going all the way to the Final Four in
Yeah.
my bracket, and Illinois won there. You had Illinois. You picked them. Why did you pick Illinois? And now they're in the Final Four.
I like the way they've been playing. They play tough ball. I like their overseas guys. They can shoot the three. Stojakovic, I believe, he plays for them. Stojakovic his dad used to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
Big
Uh-huh.
time,
Yeah. Yeah.
big time 3-pointer shooter.
Hmm.
I like their style. So yeah, we'll see, what happens here when it gets to the Final Four. But yeah, I mean, obviously, still the Big Ten dominated this whole tournament. This was a Big Ten tournament overall. I mean, we got two
2 out of the 4 Big
teams in
Ten.
the Final Four, and it easily it easily could have been four. You could have had Michigan State, Purdue, Michigan, and Illinois in there. I mean,
Yeah.
and Iowa and
Let's see.
Nebraska were left out.
Yeah, in the final 8, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 out of the final 8 were Big Ten, right? Yeah.
Yeah, half of them. So
Yeah.
they're doing
Wow.
something right there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously, when you're beating up on each other all year, I think it helps out, it helps you out. And the
Yeah.
Big 12 beat up on each other a lot too, but I really think that helped them over the course of the season. But yeah, I that's why I liked Illinois. Plus, Houston's streaky. I didn't think they'd been playing good ball coming up to then. They can't score well. They have trouble scoring. They're good defensively, but in that game they couldn't score against Illinois. They just, I don't know, building a brick house. I don't know what the deal was, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
then on top here,
yeah,
Arizona beat the Razorbacks. Purdue beat the Longhorns. And then obviously Arizona now in the
yeah.
Final Four beating Purdue there.
Yeah, Texas could have won that game too. They had their chance. I mean, Purdue won by
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
They
I was
really
watching
had
that
their
at the
chance.
end.
They
Yeah.
really had their chance. That's why I picked Texas. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
Texas
you did pick them. Yeah.
I thought Texas was a little bit more athletic than Purdue. That's why I gave them a chance. But I remember I said it was going to be between Oscar the Grouch and the other guy, the other center for Texas. I forget his name. He's from overseas. And
There
Oscar
we
the
go.
Grouch got him. And but yeah, then when you get down then to the final, the next round, Arizona. I mean, Arizona just looked really good, even though Purdue was winning that game at halftime against Arizona in the final 8 game there. So at halftime they were winning, and then Arizona just started playing good ball at the second half, and just ended up beating them by 79-64 was the final. So by the way, Iowa was also beating Illinois in that final 8 game too at halftime, but they ended up losing by 12. So the games were competitive. The only game that I didn't think was competitive was basically the Michigan blowout. It was just garbage. Michigan just looked really, really good in that game. Tennessee didn't. They didn't look like they belonged. But yeah,
Yeah, Michigan, Tennessee moving on, and then obviously Wolverines going past there.
yeah.
Probably the best player left in the tournament here with Yaxel, um, all team first team All American transfer.
Yeah, Michigan. I mean, to be honest, they look unstoppable right now. I don't know how they don't win. Arizona is very, very good though, and Arizona definitely could beat them. And Michigan's averaging over 90 points every game in the tournament. Arizona scores at a good clip though, also. But I tell you what, I don't know. Don't think I just don't. I don't think Michigan can be beat, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, are you ready to make our
Yes,
predictions here for the
let's
Final
make our
Four?
picks. Yes, I
All
definitely.
right. All right, let's do this thing. All right. So we have the games on this Saturday. And we have a 6:09 start and an 8:49 start. So it'll be a late night there in Indianapolis, in the Lucas Oil Stadium. They got the whole setup there. I mean, it'll just look like a ton of ants running around there on the court. You know
Well,
how
that's what they
it's
do.
such a big stadium. Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, I went and saw the Final Four and stuff at Ford Field where the Lions play, and yeah,
Uh huh.
it's a different atmosphere. It's a different setting
Yeah.
for sure for a basketball game compared
Yeah,
to
especially for shooters,
your normal
that distance. I know
depth
it's a really
perception.
really big thing with the depth perception there.
Yeah, it's tough. It sometimes it affects the shooting, especially early, and then hopefully they get it that background of nothingness kind of thing. Sort of,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, both obviously super close lines here. 1.5 towards Illinois over UConn, and then 1.5 in favor of the Wolverines against Arizona down there at the later game. So first, start off here with Illinois and UConn. Illinois favored by 1.5 points. Do you think the favorite will win there? What do you think in this first game?
I mean, right now UConn is on a amazing high right now, and that Reed guy, I think is amazing. I would put him in the top 10 of the draft next year for sure. I don't know if he will be, but I'm telling you what, he's a baller. Um, I just like the way Illinois has been playing though as a team overall. I'm going to go with Illinois. I'm going with them for the Big Ten, and I tell you what, to me, this game is a consolation game. Whoever wins this game's losing the championship, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Hmm.
They're playing for second, which is fine, but I'd go Illinois just
Okay. Go.
because I really don't want UConn to win because I'm sort of ticked about them, but that's me being a Duke fan, of course.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, Illinois has been really on fire here. Didn't know too much about him, but looking at Keaton Wagler, their guard,
Hmm
6'5" guard, has been balling against the teams here. He scored 46 points in the win against Purdue, and then 28 a week later against Nebraska. But Reed, like you said, 25 boards, 30 points and 25 boards in a NCAA game is becoming
Lots.
just the third player since 1960 with 30 points and 25 boards in an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Insane, insane.
I don't care. I don't care who you're playing. If you're playing in the tournament and you're doing that good, that's crazy.
Yeah. I like the Big Ten at the edge here, but then I also give the edge to Hurley and the coaching there and his success and just leading
Mhm.
this program here.
I
So
mean,
I'm gonna
three out of
pick
the last
UConn.
4 years. Yeah, 3 out of the
Yeah,
last 4 years, he's been there.
Yep, I'm gonna
So,
pick. I'm gonna
and
pick UConn. I think there's a I saw some video. It's some I think it's a furniture store in Connecticut, and they said that they're gonna give away free furniture or like any furniture bought within X time to X time will
mhm.
be free. Like we'll give you the money back or something if the UConn men and women's both make the championship game, not win it, but just make the championship game.
Really?
So
Wow. They could be out of a lot of a furniture. Because I
they
tell you
they could
what,
be they could go
the women are
bankrupt.
gonna
Yep.
make it. The
Yeah,
women are
the
definitely making it.
women are definitely
I
gonna
want to tell
make
you that
it.
right now.
UConn can make it too. Yeah, I think that UConn will make it, and I think that furniture store is going out of business.
It could for sure. And if you look at my little chart here, you can't really see it, but uh, like I said this to Luke earlier. You know, UConn won the championship in 2023 and 24. They did
Hmm.
not make it to the semifinals in 2025, but now they're in the semifinals again. I mean, that's amazing. And the Yukon women, they've made it every year to the Final Four
Yeah.
except 2023 since 2008.
Hmm.
That's incredible.
That is insane.
I mean, my goodness, that is an unbelievable stat that makes you almost think I should have picked UConn, but I'm not gonna.
I'm glad you didn't with your luck.
I'm sticking with Illinois. I
With your
know.
luck
I
right now with
know.
these picks lately. Yeah.
I know. Well, I
Yeah, you
haven't
got
been
good
doing
luck in other
that.
things, but lately it's been rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm good. The next game. That's why I'm picking Michigan because I
Okay,
hope they
okay.
lose. No,
All
I
right,
mean,
yeah.
I
So,
listen. Michigan's dominant. They are a dominant team. Arizona's a great team too. Michigan has they have it all. They have size, speed, athleticism. And once again, this is a team that's balanced. If you look at their starting five, you look at their roster. I really love their coach. I hope he does not go to North Carolina, or I hope he does. I'm not sure which one I hope more. I hope he goes away from Michigan because I don't like Michigan, but I hope he doesn't go to North Carolina because
yeah, that'd be
they
even
would play
worse.
Duke. Yeah, so I'm not sure which one I would want there. But anyways, um, but Michigan's a great balanced team. They have age, they have size, they have transfer. They one guy is from that. What did you say his name was again, Luke?
Yaxel.
Yes,
Yep.
he's in the from the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Turned down big money from Kentucky. Kentucky was going to offer him like almost $8 to $10 million. Turned him down and went to Michigan with a lot less money. So, like I said, the program's obviously doing well. May's a winner. He came from FAU to Michigan, so yeah, what a great choice they made there. I
Yeah.
wish Ohio State basketball could make a great choice in a good coach and actually start getting some players to come in and play there. You'd think one of the largest universities in the country, then one of the best football teams in the country. You think they could start producing some great basketball players because
Yeah.
a lot of these guys that you hear about are from Ohio that are playing on these other teams in the tournament. You're like, why are these kids? Ohio State just can't put a good program out there. But anyways, don't
Yeah,
get off
Ohio
the
State's
subject a
not
little
known
bit.
as no, I wanted to mention just briefly to a shout out to my university, the University of Cincinnati. We have a new men's basketball coach. I don't know if you've seen this. Calhoun, his name, from Utah State.
Okay,
Yeah.
what happened to
So
your old one?
Wes got fired. He was
He
not
got
cutting it.
fired.
Yeah. Yeah, he got fired. I think he had 4 or 5 seasons, and he didn't make the tournament once. So
Really?
yeah.
I thought
So
he did a
we
little better this year, didn't he?
so he started off really rough in the Big 12, and he had really high expectations this year, and then they actually started turning stuff around. They had a good winning streak, but the Big 12, they just beat up on each other so much
Yeah,
that they just started off so bad in the beginning of the season that they couldn't do anything to catch up later in the season there. So
yeah.
anyway, yeah, new head coach for University of Cincinnati, and in the press conference, reason I say that too is he said that University of Cincinnati is the Ohio basketball program. This is the best job
Ooh.
in Ohio
Nice.
college hoops.
Well, good for him. He's going to back it up.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
talk the talk, now you got to back up the talk. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that's
think I think he was a assistant coach back in the day for oh man, I'm blanking on the old Cincinnati coach name who was really good back when they were really good in the
Huggins,
90s or early 2000s. Yeah, yep, I think so.
Bobby Huggins,
Yeah, yeah.
and he went to West Virginia.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I hope you're right because I tell you what, they got to do something in order to be competitive in that Big 12 league. So they got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, true, true. Well,
I
speaking of the
mean,
Big 12 here, Arizona, we both picked Arizona to go all the way and win the championship here.
yeah.
Speaking to how good that Big 12 basketball is,
Hmm.
but just who's hot right now, I think we both agree that Michigan is hotter. Yaxel could talk about him more. Averaging 25 points per game, 8.3 rebounds per game, and 4.3 assists. 52.6% from 3-point range, and
That's
this is
crazy.
for the tournament here
That's
on
crazy though.
what kind of a run he's been on. So
Hmm.
insane there for Michigan. Arizona, really exciting team there as well. So they have a really great analytical team. They got really they've been consistent all season and have some great scorers. But I gotta go with Big Blue. I gotta go with the Big Ten here, and so I'm gonna go Michigan and UConn in that championship game is my pick.
So you're picking a different UC and the Michigan Wolverines?
UC, I'm
UConn.
lost.
I said you're picking a different UC instead of University of Cincinnati, which is your team because you
Uh
went to
huh.
school there. You're picking UConn. They're a
True.
different
There you go.
UC.
Okay.
Boy,
Okay.
you're a little
I
slow though
Well,
on this April
I
Fools.
was talking about Michigan though.
You
I
said
was like,
UConn against
okay,
Michigan.
I understand that. I understand now.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you said no matter what though, the Illinois UConn is consolation prize. That Michigan is your pick to win it all. Is that true?
This is true.
This is true.
Unfortunately, it is true.
Ethan, you're gonna love this.
You're gonna love it. I just gave you the curse of death.
Yeah, no, this is not good actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
If Michigan loses, it's all because of you.
that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah, if they if they do win though, maybe this breaks the curse.
They'll, yeah, maybe they'll break my curse of bad picking.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
nice.
Uh
Yes.
huh. Yeah.
Well, that's Saturday night.
Yep.
I'll be flying at a Big Bird on Saturday afternoon. I'll be catching both these games in Las Vegas. So
Hmm.
maybe I'll put a coin or two on it back there. See what we got.
Yeah, and then the championship game then will obviously be Monday night, correct?
Monday nighter,
Yep.
probably about 8:49, probably about that same time as the other game there. I hope it's not
Hmm.
quite that late. I hate when they
Yeah.
do these late games, but I mean, I don't,
Well, for you it doesn't matter. It'll be
doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah. For
early.
me, it'll be
Yeah.
yeah. For me, the game starts almost at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. That's great.
So yeah, I mean, I'll be over by 8:30. I'll be able to do my night yet. So
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then before we go, just coming this month of April, lots going on here still, even in kind of a sports off season in some
22
sort of a
days.
way. We got 22 days away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, April 23rd to the 25th here. So gearing up towards the NFL draft here. I just saw Mendoza had his pro day today at
Hmm.
IU.
Yeah, they said he looked
He was
precision.
slinging it.
Yep.
He's slinging it
Yep.
out there, and we should get in another final mock draft before the actual
Definitely.
draft itself. There, now that free agency has mostly kind of deciphered
Almost
itself out
everybody's gone.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
almost everybody with some
There's a few
meaning
left
is
here
out.
and there that
Hmm.
will pick up. Somebody will pick them up for cheap.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm excited for this draft. Of course, this is our Super Bowl every year for the Browns, even though they always pick bad players for that too. But it just at least it gives you some kind of hope and gets you excited for the next season. So
Hmm.
they're at the
Yeah.
owners' meetings currently. They've been talking. I've been watching a lot of different stuff with the NFL this week with the owners' meetings about how they're going to do this and how Shador's going to be number 2 now instead of number 12,
Ah,
and how they're going to split the reps, and how between him and Watson, and just all kinds of drama.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. Munkin didn't sound like he had any sort of affection towards Watson, in my opinion.
Munkin, see, that's the funny thing you say that, guys. I listened to all 3 of them. I listened to Barry, Haslam, and Munkin. And Barry and Haslam had this sort of affection still kind of thing, leaving the door open for Watson, while Munkin was a little more towards the Sanders side. So, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, because
Yeah, he had all praised him. He's
yeah,
Sanders is in the building all the time working out.
yeah,
He gave Munkin a statue of a horse.
yeah,
He's working hard. Obviously, Watson hasn't been in the building at all. He's doing
yeah.
whatever
He's
he's
probably,
doing.
he's been there doing
Yes.
sometime, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit because of rehab still, and working out and stuff. But supposedly Dylan Gabriel's not been in there at all. So I assume
Yeah.
he
Well,
will get traded or let go or something between now and then, because I think he sees the writing on the wall probably. But who knows? You never know with the Browns. They could go back with 4 quarterbacks going in the freaking thing again, and
I just hope they don't draft a QB. I just really don't
they're
think that'd be
drafting
good.
they are drafting a QB. They will draft a QB. I guarantee it.
I don't understand. I don't
They are
I don't
going
understand
to
why they
draft a
want to draft a
QB.
QB.
I've heard
Why
anything
though?
from Drew Aller.
Sanders should truly be Sanders would be the man on any other team in the whole league at this
That's not
point.
true. That's not true.
No?
He
At
would be
least
the
giving
man
him a
on
chance.
any other team.
Okay, no, I'm saying if they were in the same situation as the Browns with like the same roster and what had happened last year, who would be starting week 1? Sanders, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
give the young guy no reps in the offseason, no starting reps in the first 10 weeks of the season. You throw him out there for the last few weeks of the season, and he wins a couple games, wins the last 2 games against divisional opponents.
Listen, I agree with you.
And you don't give him that opportunity then to
I mean,
to
you
be
definitely have
the
to
starter?
see.
I mean, come on.
I mean, you're going to
Come
give him
on.
the opportunity. I feel like you're going to give him the opportunity to be the starter. But obviously, if it's not working out, you just can't go into the season and have him suck either. So, I mean, he's going to have to prove himself in camp, in the preseason games, and be ready to play come that first week in September.
I would
He's got
rather see it through, and then if it doesn't work out, then just suck and just tank for the rest of the season to then get a really great pick next year. Then we could,
listen.
there's multiple QBs coming next year.
I know, and I
Not
know.
that I want to tank, but like, hey, if it doesn't
goddamn.
work out, it's not like we have to.
What are we going to try to freaking win? It doesn't. We seem like we want to tank or be bad every year. I don't want that anymore. I don't have that many more years left that I can see a winner. I want to see them win a Super Bowl, at least make it there, at least be competitive yearly. I don't want garbage year after year after year.
Yeah.
It gets old. It's old, and I'm old, and I don't want it anymore. I want something that's going to be sustainable for years to come. You're going to be moving into a new stadium. You better be ready to play in it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
is that
how
quarterback in
embarrassing.
this draft class?
Yeah, and how embarrassing,
so.
how embarrassing would it be to go into a new stadium and you stink to high heaven, and next thing you know, nobody shows up at that stadium because you got nobody that can play. It's you better put a good product on the field already. It's I'm tired of it already. I'm sick of excuses. I'm tired of excuses. And they are thinking about picking Drew Aller or the kid from North Dakota State, and I can't remember his name. Who is the quarterback from North Dakota State? That's not him. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Cole Payton. Cole Payton is his name. They're talking about him as if he had been playing at a regular school that I get it.
Okay,
But
come on.
But
This
I mean,
is our savior over
they-
Shitter Sanders.
I'm gonna say, listen, I'm saying they have to have all their ducks in a row. They put all their ducks into Watson. Look what happened. Boom. Lost everything. lost draft picks, lost all their money, lost all the games, everything lost for years and years to come. And that was a thing that is affecting the team still. And it's going to affect them for years to come still, because we lost all those draft picks and everything. And we didn't get the quarterback. So now they're going to try it with Sanders. And if it doesn't go good with Sanders, then who's going to be next after that? That's the thing. Unfortunately, we have buyer's remorse with everything we do. You like this guy, we're going to buy him. But gosh, I don't really know if he's the guy. I don't know if it's going to work out. And it gets old. It gets old. And yeah, we'll see.
All right.
All right.
We'll have to save the rant for
we got off
another
on
time
we
here,
got off on a tangent a little bit,
I
but
know.
that's sorry, folks. But you could have stopped
No.
it 5 minutes ago and you'd have been fine.
Yeah. All right. Let's
right.
wrap it up. We'll be back next week, filming a day later there, Thursday. Give a recap on the championship and some more draft stuff, some more
we'll
NBA
have to start talking
playoffs
about the
here.
NBA playoff game.
Yep. Playoff games and whatnot there. Exciting stuff.
All right, bud.
All right.
We out of here. Later.
See ya.